Well, hello everybody. I'm taking a little break again. Going through a lot of bullshit again. My son, my youngest son, he finally got his driver's license and he gets the car quite a bit. And I guess he doesn't understand that the more you drive, the more wear and tear you put on a car. Oil changes, and he ran over a piece of steel and had to get a tire and I put brake pads on the car. And I tell you, boy, but if I could be 18 again, I'd take it. But I'd want to know what I know now. Wouldn't that be great? So, what am I going to talk about? Oh, yesterday, I stay with my mother, and she says to me, "What is my washcloth doing in the basement on the floor that is supposed to be hanging on the stand?" So, I'm like, what washcloth? If it's down there, it's probably by mistake. My son puts his clothes on the stand when he's taking a shower. When he picked them up, he probably picked it up by mistake and threw it down the laundry chute. Okay, that's yesterday. Then today, she says something about, well, you owe me $20 for getting the grass cut. And I'm like, well, I did kind of forget. But you always bring this up when I don't have any money. When I told you the other day I was going to pick up some money, you should have said, can you give me my $20? So we go on conversing, and she wants to boss up. I said, it's called action and reaction, Ma. If you come at me all defensive and, all upset, naturally it's going to cause a reaction in me. Now, this is all the time. My God. I hear gunshots. This is crazy. Okay, I'm sorry about that. My son wasn't here. I heard about 7, 8 gunshots. So I'm trying to bring him home a different way from his girlfriend's house. And truthfully, I don't want to live in this area anymore. I don't think it's normal for people to hear gunshots every weekend. I don't think it's not my norm. And it's certainly not my son's norm. We were in Georgia last year, and I was worried about the raccoons coming in the backyard eating the cat's food. Now I got to worry about, oh, you ride by and I might get hit with a stray bullet, which happened earlier, well, later last year. Something told me to go to the store at a particular time, so I left. When I got back, the police were on the street. I usually park on the street, but I had to park in a driveway. And they were putting down the little markers where there were shell casings. And one of the shell casings was right there where I would park my car. And I thought, wow, if I hadn't gone to the store, one thing would have happened was my car probably would have been hit by a bullet. Or I could have been walking to the car and got hit by a bullet. Or getting out of the car and got hit by a bullet. So I've learned, and I turned 62 yesterday on June 18th. It was my birthday. And the only thing I was happy about was that I had another year. I saw another year, excuse me. Because as you guys know, I lost my son 2 years ago. He was 33, and you're not promised tomorrow. So make the best of today. But follow that gut, that inner feeling, that knowing. It never leads you wrong, even if it seems wacky or weird or why should I do that? I've helped so many people over the years because I'm really kind of a jack of all trades. I can do quite a few things. And it's always put on my heart to do this for that person or be the bigger person. And I used to get in my car and drive and talk to God and say, why me? Why I gotta do this? Why should it be me? And the thought what I'd have is, well, why not you? So I stopped doing that. I just go with whatever is placed on my heart to do, regardless to how, it doesn't make sense to me. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to us. But when you're dealing with the spirit and the divine and the universe, they know, it knows more than we do. Follow it. In the end, you'll be okay. But at any rate, getting back to my mother, she goes on to say, no, I told her, well, it's called action and reaction. You're coming at me, as usual, with a fucked up attitude, which I know I should have been the bigger person and not have a fucked up attitude back, but I get tired of it. So naturally, she denies it. I bought the towel rack, on, and I'm looking at her like, yeah, well, we breaking it down like that. You get in my car, you don't even think about gas money. I bought that car. Well, when I'm by myself, I said, I hear that a lot. Your words are going to manifest for you. I'm going to help you manifest being by yourself because I'm tired of it. And I was going to leave a couple weeks ago. But I'm feeling sorry because this woman is so in her head with whatever the hell going on with her. Alzheimer's or dementia or something. She's not even thinking rational that you need a motherfucker here. And you really pushing me away. So I told her today, you want to have the perks of somebody here, but you don't want to deal with somebody being here. And you'd rather be by yourself. She said, yes. I said, I'm going to give it to you. And I am. I'm going to give it to her. And I ain't going to look back. And I told her, when I leave, that's it. Because I'm going to give 100 or 150% in anything I do. Or I don't do it. So, I don't know. But anyway, let me go on to something else that you'll probably find interesting. My nephew, he's my sister's child, and my sister's, she passed on, 16, 17 years ago. And he came by to put the brake pads on my car because he wanted to teach my 18-year-old how to do it because his dad hasn't taught him anything, but his dad knows how to do everything. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So we were talking, and I was telling him about what happened with my mother. And he was talking about how the family has grown apart, and it's not like how it used to be. And I said, well, they talk about that in the Bible. It's in there about men become lovers of themselves, and that means people become selfish, and they're only interested in self-gratification and things that are important to them only. And you really can't operate like that. And I said, if the head stinks, the body stinks. And I was referring to my mother. And I said, well, I think it's time that the old heads retire and a new head, steps up. because my mother really doesn't give a fuck about anything other than herself. She is a malignant narcissist. So I was telling him that if he would, because he's in a difficult baby mama drama where she just totally walks over him, and I said, well, if you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. And a person doing the things to you that she's doing to you has to know that you don't love yourself, because if you did, you wouldn't take her bullshit. Now, she might not be consciously aware of this, but it's there. It's not a upfront thought, but it's there, because I don't think she's that smart to even think that way. But we know the unconscious or the subconscious is picking up everything. So, if you love yourself truly, you would get away from that and love at a distance. So, you got to operate on liking and loving yourself. And when you operate in love, I don't care what you do, it all works out. I've lived it. I've learned it. I was living in Conyers, Georgia, and I'm going to name a name now. I had a landlord named Val. Val was the only child of a affluent mother who left her a lot of property. And Val was, like I said, an alcoholic. Fuck anybody, whatever, but do just vile things. And, I'm kind of a person that people gravitate to, and I would go down and talk to her and have a glass of wine. But I had a family to tend to. I had 2 children and a baby daddy. We weren't married. And so I couldn't get drunk every night. So because I stopped going down there to drink with her, she let the maintenance on the apartment go, like the air conditioning unit went out. Honey, in Georgia, you need central air. It's hot as fuck. So the unit was leaking, and my son, who was 3 or 4 at the time, developed a lot of red spots on his leg. I take him to the doctor. She doesn't know what it is, so she gives him a double dose of penicillin. And I find out later that they were spider bites. And I didn't know that spiders, they breed in moisture. So they were all in the carpet. So me, I'm kind of a prove a point principle bitch, So I start paying our $900 rent in escrow at the court, because I've been asking her to fix the air conditioner. Now, she won't fix it because I'm not drinking with her. To make a long story short, she's going in my apartment when I'm at work, and the kids are gone. So we also had a problem with ants. There was a pine tree that hung over the unit, and it was so bad they were in the refrigerator. So she tells me one day, well, if you didn't have all those pop cans around, you wouldn't have any ants. Well, my son, who at the time had to be, this is the son that's now deceased, he was in high school. Well, he did have a few pop cans sitting around. What, bitch? I'm like, bitch, how you know it? So she walks up to me and says that on the stoop outside. So I can't remember what I said to her, but I talked to her so bad she walked home backwards because she didn't want to turn her back to me, because I really can get real nasty. I can get ultraviolet. I can kill a motherfucker in the right scenario and not feel any remorse. So I don't go there that often. I've only been in that frame of mind maybe 2 or 3 times my entire life. But it's a time when whoever you are and you're facing me, you better run. Well, anyway, we go to court. We get it all rectified. I've got like $6,000 or something in escrow. And we're in the elevator together, and the air is so thick. You could cut it with a knife. I'm going to pause for a minute because my son just came.